Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode of the Social Work Rants Podcast. I'm your host, Bass Moreno. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in wherever you are watching or listening to this podcast. I appreciate all the love and support. Gracias a todos por su apoyo. Hope everybody's doing well, staying safe, wherever you're watching and listening to this podcast. Uh, I want to start off with an announcement. A, Feedspot, which is some blog. They're pretty kind of well known. Shout out to them. They did a new updated list of the top 40 social work podcasts, and the Social Work Rant Podcast was rated number 9. Made the top 10 again, y'all. So as I drop my notes for this week, so I want to say thank you because of you, the listeners, you, the viewers that watch and tune in and listen, take the time out to listen. Um, Wherever you listen, the podcast can be heard in over 60 countries and probably more than that, thanks to YouTube. So thank you for taking the time out. To all the guests that has been on the podcast. Thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedules to come on and talk about social work and whatever you guys got promoting. So I'm always looking for social workers, mental health professionals to come on the podcast. So if you want to come on the podcast, email me at basscityentertainmentllc@gmail.com. Um, and yeah, like I said, always looking for guests, and we're gonna be rocking and rolling. Podcast episodes dropping every week, and yes, podcasting is hard and to be consistent and to release these episodes, but it's very much needed. So that being said, again, thank you so much uh, for the love and support. Gracias a todos. Número 9 en todos los podcasts de social work. So, saludos, gracias. Um, as I record this episode, it is Mother's Day weekend. To all the moms out there, happy Mother's Day. It's Mother's Day every day, but in America, you get your special day. Uh, as I just recorded this coming Sunday. So shout out to my fantastic, supportive, amazing, smart, funny, sweet, loving wife, Janice. Happy Mother's Day to you. Thank you for being an amazing stepmom to Elijah and Sophia. We all love you very, very much. She just graduated from uh, getting her speech language pathology degree. So shout out to her. So full of celebrations happening. God is so good, blessing us, and we keep on rocking on. So uh, that that being said, so Mother's Day is this weekend. Uh, so I focus on my wife at the same time. Because you know, I know my mom was watching from heaven, so she continued to blessing me with all this good news stuff. So um, I know she working she working extra hard. Um, if I could get a Laker win and make the Western Conference Finals, that would even be better. No, all seriously, again, if you want to come on the podcast, definitely email me. If you want to be a sponsor of the podcast, I'm definitely doing paid sponsorships. If you got a course, if you got some sort of training that you want to be promoted, that you are promoting to social workers, by all means, you know, come on the podcast. I'm more than willing to do the read for the podcast. It could be in the front, beginning episodes, it could be towards the middle, preferably in the front. That would be quick and get out the way. It'd be less editing for me to do. So definitely email me. You know, it could be weekly. It could be just a one-time thing. However, you want to do it. So definitely email me. We could talk pricing. So definitely we're gonna be rocking and rolling. Continue to try to monetize this podcast in one way or another. So before I get started, this week's episode is brought to you by Bassity Entertainment. Bassity Entertainment, for those that have been following, I'm in the beginnings of a rebranding. So, attention social workers, mental health professionals, if you're interested in financial education, what would you like to know about? That is going to be this week's question. Leave it in the comments. Let me know what you would want to know about finances, and it'd be something you'd be interested in. And I could be doing some sort of workshops about some finances, whether it be 401ks, 529s, retirement. You're trying to buy a house. So what's that process like? Getting cars and business names, whatever you're interested in, by all means, please let me know. And based on those responses, I'll be doing workshops and kind of geared like my business into providing that type of education. So that's the rebrands. Continue to follow Bassett Entertainment. My book, Trying Through Pain, How to Maximize Your Full Potential During Hard Times, is still available bassmoreno.com, and also available on Amazon. You know, I'm still gonna be promoting the book. I got some planned events coming up within the next few weeks, so I'll be finishing up at least the start of summer, promoting the book and promoting Latinx and Social Work Volume 2. But moving forward to the rest of the summer, the rest of this year, trying to provide some financial education and focusing for us people of color, because society has us for years, generations behind. So we've been playing catch up. So using my social work skills and using my transferable skills to provide some education, since I've been on this financial journey myself these last 3 years with purchasing a car, purchasing my home, putting my car on my business name. That took like most of 2021 to do. So I'd be sharing my part of me sharing my journey, what I've learned, mistakes I've made, mistakes I continue to make in my financial journey, and just trying to help others. So that is the whole idea. Let me know what you think in the comments on the YouTube. Let me know in the comments on Spotify and on Apple, or however you listen to podcasts, or definitely reach out to me and let me know what you think. A lot going on, as always, with me. And on to this week's episode, which is an update on student loans. And I know many of y'all, I seen y'all online saying like, God already repaid your student loans. I'm not paying. It's already been paid for. Like, I've seen all the memes. I see all the comments. And some of y'all got to know, and I think you're being real that you're not going to pay them back. But at the same time, I wanted to give y'all an update on what's been happening. Shout out to the student loan doctor, Sonia Lewis, SLD. If you, I've been trying to put y'all on her, so at least some of y'all, about her. Y'all need to be following up with her, because she got an inside scoop with the Biden administration. So whatever the president and the administration got something going on with student loans, she's on it. So I got this info from her. So it's like as like breaking news this could possibly happen. I think she might be doing a new update fairly soon. She's always doing a class about student loan updates. So that being said, if you go to Studentaid.gov, you will should be seeing on the right hand side who is your service provider. Um, as many of you know, especially if you applied for the public student loan forgiveness application, you gotta have all those forms filled out by your employers, which doesn't make any sense, especially if you file taxes. The government already has your social security number and already knows who you work for. That being said, you still had to fill out that PSLF form, have your employer sign it, and then send it back to um, studentaid.gov and get your whoever your provider is. For those of us who applied for the PSLF, at one point in time, it was Fedloans. Fedloans is no longer servicing your student loans. I repeat, Fedloans is no longer servicing your loans. There are one, two, three, four. There's four companies that were servicing loans and are now no longer servicing. These are direct loans to the actual student loans. This is not Parent Plus loans. This is not private loans. This is straight from the Department of Education. So is AI Advantage or A Advantage, Navient, Great Lakes, and Fedloans. Again, I'm going to repeat. And AI Advantage, Navient, Great Lakes, and Fedloans are the four service providers no longer servicing direct loans are not serving the public student loan forgiveness, the PSLF. If you had Fed loans, many of you got transferred over to Mohela. They're supposedly a brand new company that got a contract with the Department of Education. They're already trash. That's my opinion. Just my opinion. They taking forever to process my paperwork, and then I went on studentaid.gov literally yesterday, and I know Mohela had my loans for a while, but I saw AI Advantage had my loans, and freaking Navient had my loans, and now Mohela has my loans. So the whole point is go to studentaid.gov, make sure you know who has your loans. If I'm trying not to be confusing, I'm going to go slow or try to go slow. So if you apply for the PSLF program, which anybody who's a social worker or a licensed mental health professional should have done, especially if you worked in the nonprofit sector. If you worked in nonprofit, and you haven't done it, you can still do it. That's one thing people are not telling you, and not even Biden or any of them are not telling you. You can still apply for it. Go get the paper signed by your employer if they are a qualifying employer, like a school, a hospital, um, any nonprofit social service, 501(c). If you worked at a 501(c), any point from 2007 to current, um, apply. Or if you applied, great. Now you're just playing a waiting game. The so Fed loans transferred, more than likely transfer your loan over to Mohela. Most people should have Mohela, especially if you're in the PSLF and you're a social worker or mental health professional. If not, it's okay. You should be okay. Just go to studentaid.gov and find out who has your loans. Make sure that on studentaid.gov, however amount of money that you owe in student loans matches, again, matches whatever your provider is. So I go to for me, go to Studentaid.gov, then I go to Mohela website, whatever number Studentaid.gov has to match Mohela. And also, and if it doesn't, it should be whatever Studentaid.gov has. Take a snapshot from your laptop, take a picture on your phone, just in case. Again, Mohela is trash. They don't have enough staff to be processing all this documentation. So I'm not sure when these loans should be processed, but should be sometime in December. The summer's fast approaching, but you should see or hear something in June or July. I know by like September, many of us are going to be doing repayments again. So unfortunately, there's not going to be any more extensions. The only thing that might happen is the Supreme Court making a decision as to we're going to get the 10K or the 20K or deny it. So that decision is pending. So everybody, most people should have Mohela. If not, you be all right. So if you don't have Mohela, the others who are servicing your loans are Central Research Incorporated. I never heard of them. Ed Financial Services. So I guess education financial services. Maximus Education, Mohela, and Nelnet. So I know some of y'all once upon a time might have had Nelnet. I know I did once upon a time before I applied for public PSLF, and then it got transferred to Fedloans. So those are the services that are taking over your loan. So if you don't have Nelnets, you don't have Mohela, you will have either Nelnet, Maximus Education, Ed Financial Services, and Central Research Incorporated. Those are the five companies that will have your student loans. And one of those companies, be asked to pay back the loan either August or September. It depends on the servicer, depending on how much are your loans. So if you have a income based repayment plan, however you have your loans set up. So if you had AI Advantage, Navient's, Great Lakes, or Fedloans, it went to either Mohela, Nelnet, Maximus Education, Ed Financial Services, or Central Research Incorporated, one of those five. So again, go to Studentaid.gov and see who is your service provider for your student loans. Take a screenshot from your laptop, picture on your phone. It'll tell you how much you will have. If you had any sort of Pell Grants, if the Supreme Court decides to, yes, we're going to allow the 10K or 20K to go through, if you had Pell Grants, you will have either 10K forgiven or 20K forgiven. If you don't have Pell Grants or never had Pell Grants, you're not going to get that, more than likely. So, and then go whoever your service provider is, go to that website and make sure the money matches whatever Studentaid.gov says, and also make sure I would check your credit report, a legit credit report. Credit Karma is cool, but they're not the official joint, if you know what I'm saying. So whatever credit monitor you go, or you never this year haven't gone on get your annual credit report, you would go get that and make sure that um, more money is not added to how much you owe. So it could be like you had, for example, Fedloans, and you had like 50,000 that you owed, and you know that you owe that from student loans, and then now you got still on your credit report the Fed loan plus the 50,000 plus you got Mohela, and they charging you 50,000. So now it looks like you got 100,000 in student loans instead of the 50 that you know that you owe. So make sure you gotta check your credit report. So if you're trying to buy a car, try to buy a house, or just fixing your credit, um, you make sure that your credit report is how it's supposed to look. So um, I hope I made sense. I'm gonna write it in the description of the podcast episode. This episode you may need to listen 2-3 times, or watch 2, 3, 4 times, or like the video too on YouTube on top of it. Um, so not only just watch it, like it, rate leave a comment, leave a review. Um, I just wanted to provide the education for you. And also give me some time. I have an episode that I'm having a hard time editing. So again, if you want to come on the podcast, email me basscityentertainment@lc@gmail.com. We can schedule a time to come on and kick it, rock it. Um, so I hope I made sense this week with the info about the student loans. Um, Unfortunately, September is around the corner. It's time to pay back these loans. Um, it is what it is. Um, I mean, they got, like Tupac said, they got money for wars but can't feed the poor. So we stuck with these loans unless a miracle happens and Supreme Court actually does something right and allow for these 10, 20 G's to come off the account. That would be great. Um, it might affect the credit temporarily in the negative. It might not. That's something to look out to. Any sort of forgiveness um, happening. I know people I'm getting this money forgiven. I'm like, I'm one of those people like I'm waiting for mine to be forgiven. So the student loans been driving me nuts, and I definitely could use this money to be investing in the stock market, or just adding more money to pay down my mortgage, or save it for the rainy day fund, or just going out or a real vacation, use that extra money. So go back to Jamaica because I had fun last summer. So, and I'm sure some of y'all might feel the same way. So, a short episode this week. Again, I appreciate all the love and support for rocking. Um, Short, sweet, to the point this week. Again, go get the book if you haven't got the book, the poetry book. Trying to, especially this mental health awareness month, is a lot of people still grieving. Mother's Day is not the greatest holiday for some people. So if there's a mom in your life that's physically no longer here, uh, prayers to you. It's a great, if you're a professor teaching grief in grad school, teaching about grief and loss class, I definitely would like to do a presentation based on my book, telling my story of 2020. All the grief, losing clients and losing my mom. So, or if you want to, grad school, want to purchase a book and be part of your curriculum, by all means, let me know. Let's work. Uh, that being said, again, thank you for rocking. Again, follow the podcast on all social media, Instagram at the Social Work Rants Podcast. That's all one word. On Twitter at Social Work Rants. And hit the like button, type in the Social Work Rants Podcast on Facebook, aka Meta. Hit that like button, subscribe to the podcast, rate the podcast on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, wherever you listen to podcasts. Again, thanks for rocking. I appreciate it. And I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.